Wagwan people, listen, welcome to the Forever Arsenal. Forever Arsenal, there's only three of us today, And why? Why, you ask yourselves? Robbie's not here. Unfortunately, he's got to go to a funeral today, He tells us at the 9:15 that he can't make our 9:30 show. So we've had to improvise. We try to get somebody on, i.e. Cecil, but he's too busy for us. So at the end of the day, we are going with the three of us. Bit of a poor performance, really, if I say so, really, guys. And also, it was a poor performance last night. But we have in the house, welcome, Jack. I'm glad you made it. And on time, I have to say that, on time. And have you ever heard the excuse that your internet needs a rest? I don't know if I've ever heard that one, but that's the one we got from Curtis today, who was slightly late, but all forgiven, my big man, all forgiven.
Apologies, boys. Apologies. Shout out Robbie. I hope everything goes well today, of course.
Yeah,
and
big up to Robbie, and I hope the funeral goes well and all that, Listen, how do we feel after that yesterday? I'm not going to lie. I'm slept on it. A little bit disappointed. I'm going to be honest. I was really disappointed with the way we played, particularly the first half, guys. I wanted us to come out there. Never going to be an easy game. We knew that. But just show me something. And I look at it. Gabriel kicking the ball out after 2 minutes to give away a corner. Now, I'm sure they've been prepped, these guys. Arteta. Don't give away set pieces. Do not give this team set pieces because they were dangerous and they were dangerous all night. So what do? We give away a corner in the first couple of minutes. And I just look at some of the performances, which is why I'm worried. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but why I'm worried, and I'll tell you why I'm worried, guys, is because I look at Gabriel. I've not seen him play that bad. Why? Is it because Saliba weren't next to him, or it was just the nerves got to him? Timber, his worst game ever in an Arsenal shirt. Raya, nervous as anything, all the way through the game. Zuber Mendy, did he play? I don't know if he was out there. Was he playing? Declan Rice, I thought played okay, but when it mattered, £105 million player, 6 yards out, passing the ball. Seems to have got away with that one. I can't believe it. That was at 1-0, guys. To go 2-0 up, game's over, and you think, well, as bad as we played, we got the result. Just wrong decisions, you know what I mean? Is it the pressure getting to them, And, I've heard a few people having a go at Arteta. I'm not having a go at Arteta. The one thing I will say is we went 1-0 up. Why are you bringing on Saka? That was something that we can talk about. But all in all, it was a worrying performance, forget about the result. I'm going to say it now. I thought Brentford were fantastic, and we was lucky to get a point, boys. But I have to say it was the performance that was worrying for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I mean go on, Jack. You go.
Curtis, I've been holding it in, man. I can't lie to you. I saw Lee on the watch along last night, and I had to give him a couple messages in the group. They were trying to gaslight my guy Lee Judges. They weren't trying to let him speak the truth. And I'm trying to tell you guys, that's 2 league wins in 6 games, by the way. And I know we've been doing this thing of calm, collected. We're still ahead, still games to play. City aren't the same City. They're going to drop points, but City will drop points. They will drop more points, and it will be against a team that we don't expect them to. Obviously, Fulham at home, I expected them to win. But it will be a random game that they drop points. But the thing is, City can drop them random games. But if we're dropping points every week, it doesn't matter because they'll still be above us. And it's getting to that stage now where if you look at City's last 10 games, and we can talk about us and our poor form, City have had their poor run, I feel. City have had their sort of moment of struggle. And for us to come out of that, I think they won 1 in 5 or something. And we're now only 4 points above them after that run. If you gave us that run any other season, we would have sat here and said, yeah, we're winning the league. Oh, imagine we had that run in 22-23. We'd have been about 10 points clear. So that is what is playing pressure onto us, I think, because last night the boys were shocking. I think everyone, I don't think anyone played well. And like I said, Gabriel in the second minute, it's nothing about ability. We all know how good Gabriel is. Best centre-back, if not best in the world. And last night he looked like he can cope with Brentford. And Brentford are a quality side. I think they're 7th in the league. They're fighting for Europe. They've been unbelievable this season, better than anyone thought under Keith Andrews. Igor, very good. But let's not forget they were missing one of their best players. Kevin Schade was out. They're missing him. So obviously we missed Saliba as well. But it was an even playing ground, and we looked poor. And I just wanted to mention Declan Rice because we've all sung his praises all season, and I think if we do win the league, he'll be favourite for Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year. But the one thing I've sort of noticed in the past, probably since that Wolves game when he turned around and said, "Boys, we're shit. It's not good enough." Every game he loves a moan now, and I do like that passion. But there's a difference between passion and just doing it for the cameras. I feel something like Declan, like step up on the pitch, do the talking on the pitch, and then have a moan after. The reason I'm mentioning this is there was a point where Declan Rice and Henderson had a conversation. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this, but on the pitch, and it seems to say through lip reading and stuff that he's gone to Henderson. Oh, we're definitely not winning this in around the 80th, 85th minute when Henderson came on, and it almost looked like he was stropping and there's a bit of arms throwing. But like Lee just said, but Declan, when the chance came to you, you bottled it and gave it to Gyökeres and didn't have a shot. So I don't know. It just seems the pressure is getting onto the boys now. As you can see, it's getting onto me. My head's going, but the fact I think last night was the first night we can all comfortably say I don't think it was anything other than the pressure looked like it got to him last night. I think that is my piece, guys.
Do you know what, boys? Like people keep telling me to calm down and we're still top of the league and 4 points this, that, the other. No, mate, I'm not going to calm down because the reality is we've just watched 3 years of finishing second. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like I can't deal with seeing another second place. And I saw somebody on Sky the other day, I forget who it was, but he was saying, how would this group deal with a fourth year in a row? They'd be shot to pieces mentally. Imagine how drained. I mean, I feel drained already. I don't know about you, but we're top of the league. And I feel like this is one of the most stressful seasons I've ever watched. I'm getting through the season rather than really enjoying it. And like you said, 2 wins in our last 6 games. And that was only against Sunderland and Leeds, newly promoted. 3 draws and a defeat. And like you said, everybody keeps saying, oh, this Man City, they're not the Man City of old and this, that, the other. But if they're not the Man City of old and people have said this is the best Arsenal squad they've seen in years, how comes we're only 4 points ahead of them? We've had multiple opportunities to put this title race to bed, get it over with. And we haven't taken it. And the thing that always worries you with Arsenal is how good are they going to be when the pressure's on? And the pressure's going to be on more than it was last night when you've got to go to the Etihad and play Chelsea. And even Tottenham looks a tough game now, probably with a different manager. What I will say, as poor as I think we were last night, and I really don't understand why we start games so slow. I mean, you do the watch-alongs, you sit there for the first 45 minutes, you're just like, I can't wait till half-time. That we never come out of the traps. It's almost like we got to feel our way into the game and then we get to 0-0 at half-time and then we go, right, now we're going to go through the gears. We can't always do that. And we actually felt yesterday the power of a team who's very good at set pieces doing it against us. David Raya the whole night seemed agitated from set pieces. He was asking for free kicks. He was falling to the ground. They obviously knew him from being an ex-player. They surrounded him. You see how they had that little circle around him from every set piece? And that throw-in is an absolute weapon in it from Coyote. As bad as we were last night, you know that games, fine margins. Over the years, you've seen title-winning teams play poorly and score a last-minute winner. And like Lee just said there, Declan Rice, 12 yards out, unmarked, put it in the bottom corner and then get on with it. Don't worry about Gyökeres needing a goal. You've got to shoot. And then Martinelli at the end, I mean, do you know what? I just was going through my timeline this morning and I just saw Lee's reaction on the watch along. And honestly, this guy is just... I felt exactly the same because I thought, you've actually played really well the last few games. So I quite fancied him to score that. To be fair, Keller makes a great save, but, lift it over him and score. And then you're looking at it going, Martinelli missed an open goal at Forest. He missed that opportunity last night. And those moments can cost you titles. Yeah. The problem with our team at the moment is not enough of the individuals are stepping up. Nobody really in our attack is saying, I'm going to be the hero between now and the end of the season. I'm going to get this team over the finish line. We've had heroes over the years, whether it's led to major trophies, but you've seen the Henrys, the Van Persies, the Alexis, those players that when the chips are down, they say, give me the ball, I'll win you the game. And at the moment, our attack looks flustered, people. You know, nobody in our attack played well last night. Noni got a goal. It really covered up a poor performance because I don't think he played well. Saka, to me, didn't look fit when he came on the pitch. He was meant to be out until the Tottenham game. He's come back 10 days early. Is he really fit? He looked like he couldn't run to me last night.
Yeah.
And listen, I think we're quite fortunate there's an FA Cup game on Sunday because I think we need a little psychological break from the league. Win an FA Cup game, hopefully beat Wolves. That'll put us to 7 points, and then City play Newcastle next week. But we've got to get our act together because you can't put in performances like that when you're in a title race. This is crunch time now. And too many players just didn't turn up. So, yeah, we have to dust ourselves out.
Do you know what, Curtis? You make a great point about the slow start in the first half. I'm sitting here yesterday. I was buzzing for that game yesterday because I felt it was a game where we could just go, right, let's just show where good we're. I'm confident with this team before this game because I'm thinking to myself, we are the best team. We've got the best play. We're going to go in and do well. I couldn't believe how poor that first half was. I actually looked on the line. I think Arteta was thinking the same. You know, I've got to question some players now, like, you know what I mean, with their mental attitude. What did our front four do in that first half? What, any of them? You know, Gyökeres held the ball up really well, but other than that, where was it? And then I think to myself, all right, okay, a little bit. I'm going to talk about Eze now. Like, I think a little bit harsh on him that he's the only one to be chucked out of that side in the first half because they were all shocking. They were all shocking. But at the end of the day, when you've got somebody like Odegaard on the bench, sometimes that dictates it. Like, you know, I look at first of all look at Trossard, right? You know, I think Trossard was magnificent the game before against Sunderland, but he's got Martinelli breathing up his backside. Don't bother him. Don't bother him. You got Saka on the bench, Noni. You know what I mean? Didn't bother him. Eze's got Odegaard on the bench. Didn't bother him, like, you know what I mean? Gyökeres has got Jesus on the bench. Don't bother him. But why when you got Man City breathing down your neck, we all seem crumble? You got players that are going to take your place. It's all right. I'll go and put in a lackluster performance. Anyway, Eze comes off, and I'm not 100% sure that it's Odegaard that changes the momentum of the game. I actually think it's the rollicking that he's given at half. He must have gone in big time at half time.
I hope so.
I know that I would have. I would have gone right in at them at half time, like, you know. And I think if you look at the game yesterday in that first half, and particularly over the game, I'm sitting there. Who's come out of that with any credibility? Mascara at the back, definitely. You know what I mean? Like, and also, I think Nketiah played quite well as well. But the rest were off of it. And I look at it and I have an argument, and I've said it 3 or 4 games. Timber, let's just talk about the Martinelli chance. He should never have had that chance. Timber should go on and score the goal or put it. It's such a bad touch that he has to pay it to Martinelli. Let's get that straight. You know, he's 1-on-1 and he actually plays a touch which actually goes to the side of it. So he has to play the pass. So if Martinelli doesn't support him, the chance goes. But that's another thing. I said on numerous occasions now, Ben White plays against Sunderland. No, we can't do that. Can't do that against Sunderland. Can't do that. Look at that performance yesterday. What you could have played Ben White against Sunderland, and Timber would have been fresh. I don't know. I'm hoping that he's not fresh, because that was a performance of. If not, I'm worrying about his mental state of it all, like, you know. And then you got to come to it and all that, like 45 minutes after what. And I know, like, you can think about pressure and everything like that. Let's be honest. This is how it's gone, boys. Right? At one stage, it was 9 points in front. Yeah, which we was, right? And then it was, while that Liverpool game was going on, it was 9 points. Then it went down to 8. Then it went down to 6. Then it's gone down to 3. And now it's gone to 4. It's been a quite a big shift of points, really. Like, you know what I mean? If you be really honest, like 5-point shift, really, in what, 4 or 5 days. And you have to give credit to Man City for doing that. But to go out and perform like that in the first half, and do you really need a manager to give you a rollicking to make you perform? Because that's what it seemed to me in that first half. Second half a lot better, but not good enough. And you know, let's talk about it now. Like, you know, Eze, everybody's asking him to do this. People, I see shows, I see people who's playing. You know, who's playing? Yeah, Eze. And every time he plays, he lets us down. And that was a performance yesterday where I don't know if you can trust him again in that role. You know, and I have to say, Kai Havertz has been nurtured through the last few games, hasn't he? Like, you know what I mean? Let's be honest, he hasn't played 90 minutes, broke down. You know what I mean? Like, Saliba, not there. Like, you know, we need our players fit and ready for these games. And you know, they're not. But when you think, well, okay, that's all right, Eze comes in, like, you know what I mean? And let's be honest, Noni comes in as well, like, you know. They're big signing guys. They're not like youth players that are coming in. But I'm telling you this now. I don't care what anybody says. Wanyeri has done more in a shirt for Arsenal than what Eze's done. And there he's been bombed. He's been bombed out of it, like, you know. I mean, you can go, right, yeah, it's good for him and all that, like. But I'm sorry, like, that performance yesterday from Eze, I think you said it, Jack. Was it? Yeah. Or someone said it, like, I don't know if it was you said it on a group chat. Ozil, that was Ozil like, but at least Ozil's got some talent.
Yeah,
to go with it, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I said it at the start of the season. I remember on this podcast, I remember saying that when we first signed Eze, I said the type of player he is, if we start losing games, the first one that's going to be pointed and shouted at is Eze, just because of the way he plays. And it's the same as Ozil in the way that he'd stroll about. He'd look a bit lazy. Not that he was lazy, but he'd look a bit lazy, lethargic sometimes. But then Ozil would just get the ball and get 4 assists randomly, and you forgive him, and it was fine because it's Mesut Ozil. Eze, we never expected to do as much as Ozil, but we definitely expected him to do a lot more than what he's doing. And I know there's been some arguments that, you know, he gets a lot of minutes off the bench. He doesn't get a run of games. How's he supposed to play into like form, etc.? But I think he's only contributed to a goal on 3 of his like 12 starts for us, and it was the hat trick against Tottenham, the goal against Palace, and an assist against someone. I can't remember the assist he was against, but he's not performing when he's at Forest. So all the other times he started, he's not got a goal or assist. So that's not on Arteta. That's not on whoever. That's on Eze himself not performing. And last night, I think there was a stats graph where he made 3 passes in their half. In that first half, 3 as an attacking midfielder. All the rest of his passes were backwards into our own half. That's got nothing with systems. That's confidence in the ball. That's him getting the ball and going, I don't want to take a risk trying to go to Madueke down the wing because I might lose it. So I'm just going to go backwards instead. And that might be a mentality thing on him where he's scared of getting dropped. But all he's done is work himself so much in his head that he's got himself dropped anyway because he's taking no risks. He's doing nothing a number 10 should. So he's got himself hooked off. That's the second time he's been hooked at half time for a tactical decision. Arteta said in his post-match, with no injuries, it was a tactical decision. So that's Arteta going, you're not good enough. And I can imagine, like you said, he's given him a bollocking in that change room of just not being good enough. And we can talk about on the ball, and I think I've said before, you can miss a chance. It happens. It's football. We can't blame that. Sometimes you should look at Cole Palmer the other day, quality player, he's missed from a yard out. It happens. But that first half, Eze and Madueke at points were standing there shouting at each other across the pitch, telling each other where to stand because they didn't know where to press from. That's basics. That's basic Premier League football knowledge. Play in your position. They look confused. Gyökeres is running one way, Eze's running the other, then Madueke is running one way. There was no team pressing. And I think Keith Andrews said something really, really important, and it was actually quite a good read. He said that the entire game, and I think you mentioned it there, Lee, we like to discredit him, been nowhere near the level of a footballer as an Arsenal captain should be this season. Even missed a good chance in that second half. But Martin Ødegaard, when he came on, his base level, his bottom level is even a level above of what Eze's given us at the moment in terms of just getting the ball, keeping the ball, playing it calm. He's not offering what we want from him. He needs to be doing more. I'm not saying Odegaard is perfect. He, even last night, lost his man at the back post. Arguably, could have partly down to him that we conceded. He had that shot on the edge of the box that was, he had acres of space. He puts it rose-ed. He's not doing good enough either. But in general play, keeping the ball, forward passes, etc., Odegaard is a level above Eze, and we're all here sitting saying Odegaard's not been good enough. So that only says for what Eze's doing at the moment. The only other thing I wanted to touch on was give a bit of credit to Timberley. I will say is that yes, he was through on goal. Yes, it weren't the best touch, but he is a right back. I will accept, it's Timber. He's a right back. He's through on goal. He's a defender. Martinelli, on the other hand, is a forward who didn't finish in the box. That's a bit different. Obviously, yeah, Martinelli could be sat there going, well, if you took a better touch, you should have scored that. But Timber's gone, well, I've passed it to the forward in the forward area to do forward things, and you've not done it. And I know Curtis mentioned a few misses, but the one that springs to mind is very, very similar chance against Emi Martinez, Aston Villa away, where he side-footed it and missed when he should have took it on his other foot as well. If he let that roll on his left foot and just slot in near post, Kelleher's arm was the other way. He could have put it in, or he could have took a bit of time, lifted it over him. But it's just come to that point now where if you're not getting motivated enough by the fact that City are now 4 points behind us, there's nothing the manager can do, and there's nothing Arteta can do. That at this point at this point of the season, you shouldn't need motivating. It should be there's 10 games left. If we just win 10 games, we got the Premier League. That's it. There's no ifs, buts, but just win 10 games. If we win our next 10 games, you will all be Premier League champions. There's no doubt about it. And the fact that some of them players, Zuber Mendy, hiding. Because it's not a quality thing. We all know Zuber Mendy is well more than good enough to start and win a title with Arsenal. But it's just them games he just seems to hide in sometimes. And it's annoying because we've seen him turn up. We know he can. It's a bit different with Eze because we haven't really seen him do it consistently. So we don't know what we're going to get with him. Zuber Mendy, we know what we can get from him. And when he's hiding, puts so much pressure on Rice. And then our midfield falls apart because you've got Eze who doesn't know where to stand. Zuber Mendy doesn't want the ball because he's a bit scared. And then Rice is having to run absolutely everywhere and knacker himself out because he's got no midfield. But I guess finally on them boys is that, hands up, Gyökeres last night, I actually didn't think was that bad. I actually thought he was okay last night. Yeah, he didn't get a goal, and I've always said you expect a player like that to score you goals in these games. But some of his link-up play, that ball to Timber to put him through, quality. Like he generally looks some quality. There was a time we deaded it on his chest. He had two centre-backs behind him, and it dropped dead on his chest, like Ronaldinho-esque. And I was thinking, I can deal with a bit more of that, Mr. Gyökeres, mate. It's been a while since I've seen that. Obviously, didn't score. We didn't win, so you can't praise him too much. But I think the fact that I was so impressed by him, someone that I've been not impressed by all season, sort of showed what the level that other players were at yesterday. The fact that I thought Gyökeres was our best player. So, yeah, I'm not sure, boys. I'm not sure. It's getting a bit nervous now.
Can I just say quickly, with Eze, it's not working out, and I don't know what the reason is. Like, what I mean? But we were so hyped when we signed him because we thought this guy's a difference maker. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen it. He's scored against us in big games before, but sometimes players they don't make that step up. He was a big fish in a small pond. No disrespect to Palace, this is a different level. And the requirements are different. And I think a lot of the time he was able to stroll through games at Palace because other players would do his dirty work. He ain't going to get away with that at Arsenal. The first thing Arteta talks about is the work rate. We needed more work off the ball. So clearly he looks at Eze and thinks you don't put in enough of a shift. The one thing I will say, because I've defended Eze and blamed the system and blamed the formation and where you're playing him, the one thing that I find unforgivable that Eze is doing for me is he's hiding. He's hiding. I would rather, as a player, you get on the ball, try and make something happen, and it goes wrong, and you just hold your hands up and say it didn't work. But when you're not trying to get on the ball, for me, that's inexcusable. Odegaard came on, and I thought up until we scored, he played really well when he came on. What I mean? Just simply by getting on the ball and giving us a link between midfield and the front line. After the goal, Odegaard didn't look the same player. He got mullered on the goal, didn't he, at the back post? Yeah. And I don't know if you read that they're saying he was limping through the mix zone after the game. Well, the question I'm asking there is, if Odegaard got injured at that goal, why didn't he come off?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Why did he not come off and say, I can't run or whatever? Because we carried him then for the rest of the game. I have to say that, you know, I thought Brentford were brilliant last night. I'll be honest with you. It's hard to credit the opposition when your teams drop points, but they lost their goalkeeper, their captain, their top goal scorer, and their best player in Mbeumo as well. And that's the first time we felt like what other teams have felt like from set pieces, because we looked like we couldn't handle their set pieces. Yeah. They had a couple chances at the back post. Gabriel gets done on the goal. If you watch the replay, the flick on, he gets bullied, and then Odegaard gets bullied at the back post. Raya's in no man's land. And in the end, I mean, I feel like it's 2 points dropped. But in the end, we're probably quite lucky to get out of there with a point, because Igor Thiago one-on-one volleys it over the bar. They had a header at the back post. They looked the more likely to score. But the only thing I will say with Arteta, for me, I'm not going to go too harsh on him, but I don't know about you, boys. Sometimes I just think, can you not throw the kitchen sink at a game sometimes? Like, are you ever willing to roll the dice and say, it's 1-1, a point's probably not great? Like, why not put Jesus up front for 20 minutes with Gyökeres? Why not put another creative midfielder on? Why not sacrifice Zuber Mendy, who's not doing anything? Maybe leave Rice in the 6 by himself. But like, why is it always Trossard off, Martinelli on, Calafiori on, and Capie off? Like, when are you going to do something different? Go with 2 strikers, try and win the game, because it just all felt the same. And every week against Liverpool, when we said it, like for like subs, do something different, because the opposition must be able to predict what's going to happen. Gyökeres is going to play up front, fight the centre-backs, and then go on, Lee. Go on. See you.
No, I totally agree. I think he has tried to do something different with the Havertz thing. I think that's worked by putting him in there. Yeah. We've just slightly changed our style a little bit. Like, I think he was missed yesterday, not just from that role, but from the physicality side of it as well. Like, you know, I do agree with you, like for like. And listen, I felt that was a game. If we'd have gone for it, I think we'd have got beat. Like, I think like they opened us up on many occasions yesterday. Like, and I think if we'd have gone for that, I think we would have been exposed. I think that maybe it doesn't help that you lose your central defender in Saliba. It's not the first time that this has happened to us, by the way. That Saliba's gone out in big games or Gabriel, you know. But in saying that, I think Mosquera come in, done it exceptionally well. I've got to say that, like, you know, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we get on with that. But people are saying not risk him against Sunderland, not risk him. But you know, is it a bit of an insult to these players? You know, I'm not risking you against Sunderland at home or Leeds away. But I'll tell you what, you can play against Wigan. What's Ben White actually thinking today? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all right to play against Wigan, am I, at home? But I'm not all right to play against Sunderland and all that. I think the last 4 or 5 games he's not played, and then he's watching Timber like on empty, and that I think the manager has got to come into it a little bit, because I look at that yesterday, guys, and I think, right, I'm confident Arsenal are going to win the league, because I've seen something different about the whole thing and all that attitude going through this season. The manager seems to have changed a little bit with the way he conducts himself and everything like that. But yesterday, all the things that have been there in the past were there. The nervousness, you know what I mean? Decision making, like, you know, of the players. Sometimes, you know, as a player, you make a decision naturally, like, you know, but when there's a bit of pressure on, you make the wrong decisions and all that. And that's what makes you a champion and not a champion. You know, like, I look at Declan Rice, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. I thought he played well again yesterday. But that decision there, not to pass instead of shoot, is something. Do you think Steven Gerrard would have done that? Do you think, like, you know, like, do you think Frank Lampard would have done that? Like, you know, Patrick Viera would have done that. I don't think they would. So there's moments when you've got to turn around and say to yourself, look, I'm the man here. You know what I mean? And I think that he is. Let's be honest. Do we all think he's the man? Yes, we bloody do. But that was a moment that cost us yesterday. You know what I mean? Forget about the header. Everybody's going on about Odegaard at the back post and everything like that. Blaming Odegaard, get rid of this and this and that. But realistically, when did that game change? Was when Declan Rice decided to pass it to Gyökeres, who, by the way, wasn't on his own.
Toes.
Yeah, and he wasn't like he had someone next. It wasn't like I'm putting it across and it's a tapping own gut, like, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was free all over. It was the right decision, you know what I mean? Like the right decision was to just smash it as hard as you can into the back of the net. I get if you're one-on-one, a little bit like Martinelli done the other day, and he played it into Gyökeres. It wasn't one of those passes, you know what I mean? It weren't really on. So I look at that and I think to myself, you know, mentality side of it all, like, you know, and I just think at the end of the day, you know, like, players have got to take responsibility as well. They have, you know what I mean? Eze had his chance yesterday. Listen, can I dare I say this? And I've said it on the stream yesterday. He's bringing on Saka, and I get that. We're desperate for and let's be honest, Madueke was awful. I'm going to say it there. Like, he was awful, right? So you're thinking, right, make the change. It's a great ball in from Nketiah. It's a fantastic header. We go 1-0 up. What does that do to him now? Oh, it gives him a bit of confidence now. Like, what happens? 2 minutes later, he comes off. And also, I don't know, you know, and I said it again, why are we taking him off on a corner, knowing that they're dangerous on set pieces? Can someone ask me that? You know what I mean? Like, decision making on pressure. You know what I mean? Putting Saka on for a corner that's not the physicalist, you know what I mean? Like, in the team. Just little mistakes like this creeping in at the elite level. And when we're all saying it's fine margins, like, you know, and you look at the goal, Gabriel, he's beaten, like, you know, and then Odegaard should have done more. I get that, like, you know, and then you look at it, and I'm right. You're right when you're saying this. What did Odegaard do after that? Not a single thing. I'm looking at it and I'm going, right, Odegaard doing nothing. Zuber Mendy, I didn't even know was playing. I'll be honest. I don't know did he play? Was it him out there? I don't know. He did absolutely nothing, right? Then I'm going to say, like, if it wasn't for Declan Rice, right, in those moments, because he's playing on his own in there in midfield after that, we lose that game. We lose that game. He's all over the place. So I can forgive Declan for that thing, if I want to be honest, because he's doing other things. But at the end of the day, he's still got to take the responsibility. Yeah. I'm looking at it and I'm going like, this is the fourth time now. The fourth time that Odegaard's been injured, right? And he's come back on. In 3 of those occasions, right, he's been out for 3 or 4 weeks after that incident. And here we are now in February. He better be playing on Saturday or be available Saturday. I bet he's not. He'll be injured for another couple of weeks. So you're putting him back on again, right? How many more times are you going to do that before you learn the lesson and go, he's not fit? So the mistakes are still happening, right?
I don't know.
I look at that and I go, I bet you he's out for 2 or 3 weeks after that, because it was a bad injury. I had a look at it. That could have been a lot worse for him, like, you know what I mean? Knee, like, similar sort of one he had against when he come off last time. Do you remember he kicked out? It was unfortunate. Ran around for 10, 15 minutes and was off again, like, you know. I don't know, because we've got no Havertz, we've got no Eze, all of our sort of number 10s, no Wanyeri, like, we ain't got number 10, have we, like, you know what I mean?
Well, we have got Eze. Eze is still really, mate.
Do something a little bit. Could have Miles Lewis Skelly gone in midfield and done a better job than him, run around and make a few tackles if you're not fit? I don't know. Could have Jesus come on the wide instead of playing an unfit Saka? And I look at it and I'm sitting there and I'm Martinelli, right? And I'm not sticking up for Martinelli in no shape or form, right? You know, but I think he deserved to start in that game yesterday. I think his performances have been like merited a start, but I get it. Right, okay, right. When you the last few games, Nolly's come off. I've gone on. Right, let's get ready for it. Oh no, Saka, you ain't been about for 3 weeks. You go on and play some front of me first. That ain't right, guys. It's not right when you've been doing the business like the last couple of games, and then like someone comes straight on in front of you and doesn't do the business. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day. See, I know what you're saying. I'm going to have a look at the manager today. I'm going to have a look at him when the pressure's on. Make the right decisions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he did yesterday as well. And I'm panicking now from going like, do you know what? It's all about us. I'm not worried about anything else, right? You know what I mean? Like, let's get it done. Let's get the job done, right?
The corner stuff, Lee, that's the only thing that I could blame the manager on in terms of football 101, innit? You get sort of told from a young age,
Yeah.
On a corner. And fair enough, if we were subbing Gabriel on, maybe I'll go, yeah, understand. But if you watch it, we sub Saka on, he then clears the ball from the corner for a throw-in, which we concede from. You know, the if spots and maybes. Maybe if Saka didn't get subbed on, someone else, Madueke might have hoofed it up the pitch. Who knows? But it's that thing of we put ourselves in a position making a football 101 error of making a sub on a corner, and it's sort of played into that. We've made a sub before a corner, we conceded. It sort of adds to the myth. But the only thing I wanted to speak about, and maybe you boys have an opinion on it, and I know football's changed a lot, especially over the past sort of 10 years in terms of the amount of games and different competitions and more international games and all this stuff. But I don't remember a time, sort of during that Jurgen Klopp era, Mohamed Salah was playing 35 games a season in the league for 4 or 5 years. I remember back in, 2010 to maybe 2014, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Karim Benzema, etc. These elite level world-class players, they're playing 50, 60 games a season, 7, 8 years in a row. I never hear, oh yeah, Cristiano's not really up for it today. His battery's a bit low. He's not going to play this one. Or oh yeah, Lionel Messi's not going to play this one. He's not really up for this game. Or I don't know, Iniesta and Xavi aren't going to make this one. They're a bit tired today. And obviously, I know there's been an increase of games, but even Pedri at Barcelona, I think there was a season where he played like 72 games in a year, and that was quite recently. And is it a thing of like, why is it all of a sudden that players like we're talking about Yuri and Timber. Timber's not injured. He had an injury. He came back progressively. Ben White was covering him, and now he's fit again. Why do we need to rest him? Like, why can a player that we sit here on shows and Twitter and stuff and say, yeah, he's world class, he's top 3, Reece James and Hakimi, the only ones who can come near him and stuff, but he can only play a couple games and he needs to rest because he's got to save his energy and stuff. What happened to the days of like footballers being able to just play a full season of football and be at a level? I don't know. Van Persie's last season for us, obviously season before injured, but his last season for us, he's playing and scoring every game, every competition. Where's that like gone? Where's that durability of the footballers gone in terms of the elite level? I'm saying averagely footballers are going to get injuries and stuff, but we're the ones sat here saying Declan Rice is the best midfielder in the world, Gabriel's the best centre back in the world, Timber, Saka, world class players. But when you look at but they need a rest. This isn't quite right. I know. What happened to the days of just the players taking responsibility for their own fitness, for their own levels, for their own ability, and going, well, if I want to be the best, if Saka wants to be as good as a Mohamed Salah in the future and fight for these world-class players and stuff, these guys are playing 60 games a year every season and not letting their levels drop once. And I feel like we still don't have a player that does that. Rice is probably our nearest player to that is pretty much available every single game when we need him, hardly gets injured, levels rarely drop. Apart from that, there's always sort of, Timber's not been good, but we can replace. Calafiori needs a rest. Gyökeres, he's played 6 games, he's tired. Let's put Jesus in. Where's the elite? Like, I don't see Gyökeres getting rested for Sporting last season. He still played a lot of games for Sporting last season, not as much as for Arsenal, but he was still playing 40 games in a row out there, probably 70, 80 minutes a game. Why is it now that it's, they need resting? No one can play 4 games in a row. Well, I don't know what's happened in football, but
don't you think football's changed now? I feel like, first of all, they go on these grueling pre-seasons, then you go on international duty now. They're playing the Nations League instead of friendlies, so now it feels like something's riding on them. So when it comes to an England game, Saka's going to play both, Declan Rice going to play both. And I just think football in general has changed. You look at 15 years ago, there wasn't that many like ACL injuries, for example. Now you see a lot of players getting ACL injuries. You wonder if it's the boots, is it how hard the pitch is. You know, I don't think you see that many players play 38 games anymore. And I think the demands, you know, Lee, I mean, we've been there obviously on the pre-seasons and stuff at the side of the pitch, and you see the amount of running that these guys do, Martinelli and Saka, the amount of defending they have to do. I feel like your Ronaldos and your Messis, they had, you know, I heard Gary Neville saying before that Ferguson used to say, don't make Ronaldo defend. You know, we need his energy for when he attacks. So these players are running 10, 11 kilometers every game as well. So I think that's why they extended the squads to 25 so that, you know, teams can rotate, and 5 substitutes a game as well. So I
don't think they get a break as much as I think there was a couple of seasons ago when Declan Rice and Saka had 3 weeks off before they were playing. Their last game was 3 weeks. You need like, you know, it used to be the minimum of 6 weeks before at one stage and all that, like, you know. And I do think there's something in that, you know, with the way that we play. If you look at Arsenal and the great invincible side and that, they'd say to Robert Perez, right, you don't come back. Like Ray Parlour would do his work and all that, but when it mattered in the box or in the final third, that's when you come alive. And you have a look, he'd done that. That's what he'd done. But I look at our wide players now, and you have a look at Timber and that was the moment in the last couple of minutes there. But I'm just bringing him up as a point. He ain't got the energy to get forward no more because he's done all the work somewhere else on the pitch and things like that. I know that he's a fullback. Like, I'd love to have seen Martinelli in that position instead of him going on one-on-one. I'd have backed Martinelli to have scored it. Like, he'd have got away a bit better and whatever. Like, you know, I don't know. I just think that football has changed a little bit there. And, you know, listen, we was having a moan up, was it 2 years ago when Saka was doing that? He was playing like every single game, and then all of a sudden, look at him now. He's broke down. You know, the fascinating thing about watching a game on TV is that for the first time in a little while, you know, when I've never ever known it when a hot water bottle was being put on your hamstrings during the game. What's all that? What does that tell you?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah,
that doesn't bode well for me. I don't. Maybe it's modern football and whatever, like, but like, you know, I mean, I'm not being over. If I come out of a hot water bottle, if I was on the bench, it would have been poured all over me, like, you know what I mean? It was just, you know, it was things that would have been, you know, it's just not there. It's just different what I'm seeing. I couldn't believe when I see that yesterday. That tells me that something's not quite right. You know what I mean? Like, and how do they keep warm for 90 minutes? Because if you know, normally like they go cold after about 15, 20 minutes in your bed, don't they? Like, you remember back in the day?
They got special ones there.
Yeah, it must be special ones.
They got the budget, didn't they?
Bloody hell, like,
do you know something, Lee? You make a point there, and I'm thinking, like, are you boys a bit worried about Saka overall? Because I'm looking at Saka, 24 years of age. He's the face of the club. You know, he's had 2 injuries this season now, muscular injuries. Tore the hamstring last year, pulled it this year. Now he's done the hip. Looks like we've rushed him back. He just, I don't know. I'm concerned about him overall. You know, it looked like he was getting better and better every season. And this year, he's kind of dipped off. I'm not saying it's his fault because I think the injuries have made a big difference. But we've just invested 300 grand a week for 5 years in him. And you all know what the conversation was with Mesut Ozil, the contract, and then Aubameyang, the contract and the decline. Just, I really hope it's just an off season and he comes back. But you're a little bit concerned about him long term.
I am. I am, like, with the injury front. I think that, you know, that the injury that he had is a completely different when you're a defender to a forward. You as a forward or a wide player, what's the first thing that you got? Is explosion of pace is. And I don't know if he's comfortable with his body now, like, you know, to do that. And listen, that ain't the end of the world, because sometimes you have to redefine yourself a little bit and play completely different, like. And so he's going to have to find that. Maybe a different role could be, and it's not a wide man. Maybe it's to playing in the 10 for him or something like that, where he hasn't got to be as explosive. I don't know. I think that's something that they'll have to look at in the future. But I do feel it's 2 stop-start. But I look at that yesterday, and we all want Saka back. But I think that yesterday it was just so unnecessary. It was just so unnecessary, like, you know what I mean? And I look at this, right? We're 1-0 up, yeah? And I'm not doing a tie when I say this, right? It's pouring with rain, right? Yeah. It's not the greatest game for the skillfulest players. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying here. Like, the pitch is a bit slippery and whatever, blah 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 blah.
Oh, that's why we lost, is it, Lee? Oh, come on, Lee.
No, I'm just saying, like, as a forward sort of a player, you didn't really need him to be out there for that game. Like, sometimes that weather conditions and all that, like, is a Ray Parlour sort of pitch. You know what I mean? Like, someone that's going to chase, get stuck in. Not being disrespectful when I say that. You know what I mean? I don't think that necessarily was the right time to be, especially when you then look at it and go, right, he looks so off the pace. Why is there a desperation to bring him on? I get the desperation if you're losing or you need it, but we're winning. And you know, for me, I'll be looking at it going like, well, we don't really need him today. Like, you know, I'll do what we've done with Kai Havertz the last game. Like, don't bring him on. Like, you know, Kai Havertz has been, you know, he's a very, very good player, as we know. But there was a game when he didn't even come on. There was, oh no, we can't, but we're not bringing him on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I just felt there's the desperation to bring him on all the time. Like, you know what I mean? He's putting a little bit too pressure on him. Like, and then like when he comes on, we're all expecting him to be magnificent. I looked at it last night and I thought, like, do we really? He's just come back from an injury, which we said, like, normally it's 3 weeks and it's 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I am getting a bit worried about, you know, like, his body side of it and all that. Like, you know, as you say, he's 24. He's been playing a long, long while now. Like, he's been a big player for us for a very, very long while. But I'm not so sure that we had a conversation with a couple of people on the phone night and the chat. Is he ever going to be like he was because of that injury? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's a bit of a worry. It is a worry, yeah. I'm going to say it's a worry.
It's definitely a worry. I think, yeah, the style of play, obviously explosive winger and stuff. Well, maybe when he was 17, you know, Unai Emery days, bit different to what he is now. Even when he was fit, he's not as explosive as he when he first sort of came onto the scene. But it's more his goal scoring that I'm more worried about in terms of elite wingers. I've mentioned it before as well, that all the elite wingers that we compare him to are all outscoring him, no matter what league, what position, what age, whatever. Every sort of winger in his position scores more than him. So then you go, okay, if Saka's not going to score loads, does he get loads of assists? He doesn't. He gets a couple. 90% of them are from corners, which is fine because it's a skill set. Same way we praise Declan Rice for them. His corners are amazing sometimes, Saka. But it's to the point where it's like you said last night, where was the star quality? Like we said, saying with the Ozils and the Alexis and the Van Persies and the Omris and that. He's the guy we expect to go on and go. Even if you are injured and you're only 70% fit, you only got to play 20 minutes. And at that point in time, we can go, oh yeah, but we might be missing Saka for Tottenham if he gets injured, or Chelsea. But at that point in time, when Saka's on the pitch in the 80th minute against Brentford, that game's more important than any other game. Because if we drop points, it's going to affect us winning the league. So for that next 10 minutes, there shouldn't be any thoughts about Chelsea or Tottenham. Because if we lose that game, which we could have, by the way, Thiago could have got 4 if he was on his finishing boots, then it doesn't matter. It's about that game. And Saka, when he came on, it was, like I just said, he's probably only 70% fit. But if you're only paying 15, 20 minutes on 70%, I still expect a little bit as our best player. It's not I didn't expect Calafiori to come on and score. I didn't expect Calafiori to come on and change the game and dominate and be the player that win us the game. It's different for different players. With Saka, he is the guy that we all have the expectation, because we've seen him do it. We've seen him drag us from the depths of like relegation fights with Burnley at that point, all the way back up to competing again. And it's to the point where we've seen you can do it. Obviously, it's a few years ago now, but it just doesn't seem like it's coming. It's not even like, oh yeah, but if he did that, it could have happened. It's just nothing. It's just like every time he went near the ball last night, I'm pretty sure he gave away a foul. He just sort of shouldered into someone and gave away a foul. And I don't know if it's a confidence thing for him. I don't know, but I do think no matter if you're 70% fit or not, I don't really want to hear it as an excuse into the terms of what's he got this season? Maybe 4
Premier League goals. Yeah.
4 Premier League goals, and I assume one was a penalty. So yeah, is that what we're really classing as, a 300 grand a week star of the franchise, potential Premier League winger? Obviously, I know the way you play, he's very good defensively, and we've mentioned it before. I don't know, Lamine Yamal doesn't have to come back often and do right back shifts for Barcelona, but Saka has been through. Saka has had forward opportunities. It was only a couple months ago we were moaning at him for not passing it to Gyökeres enough, or not freeing up Gyökeres. So it's come to the point, like, what is he offering that should give him that sort of pedestal above everyone else at this point in time? And I don't think there is anything.
Do you know what? Do you know what I think? I think Arsenal this summer have got to buy an elite left winger, because I think that when you look at Liverpool's success under Klopp, I feel like Mane was just important to Salah as Salah was to Mane, because you had carnage on both wings. You can't double up on both sides. I think when you play against Arsenal, you'll say double up on Saka, and you might risk going 1v1 with Trossard or Martinelli. I think if you've got another monster on the left-hand side, that takes some of the pressure off of Saka. And I think that's what we got to do. I mean, and I don't want to, Robbie's not on the show today, but we were talking the other day about going into the window. I watched a bit of that Barcelona game last night, and Lookman, £30 million, was ripping Barcelona to shreds. Scored 2 goals last night. There are little gems in the January window, if you're active. But I think we need to take some of the. We've put so much pressure on Saka since really the day Aubameyang left. We basically said, you're the guy that's got to keep us above water. And I think with those injuries that he's had, we've got to take some of that responsibility off him and let somebody else do some of it.
The other thing is, it starts for him now, for me. Right, he gets this injury. He gets some minutes against Wigan, and then you bring him off. You bring him, then you go, right, Wolves, that's where you make your fit, and then you go to Tottenham and you perform. And no excuses on him, you know what I mean? Like, this is, you're paying in the big bucks. He is a top player. We know he is. Go and prove it. And I do you know what? If there's one man that will do it, it's him. I do think that he's capable of doing it. And you've got to trust your body as well. If you're going to explode, do it. And if you break down, then you break down. You know what I mean? You can't be. This is not a time where you got an actual. I'll get through a game. You can't be like that now. You've got to give it everything that you got. And I think there's a few players that have got to step up. And that puts me straight lovely into the Wigan game, because we've got a couple of minutes before we go. Wholesale change against Wigan, or do we? Or what do we do here? You know what I mean?
It's got to be full rotation.
I think it's got to be wholesale changes.
Yeah, I think at this point is just rest as many players as we can. Full focus on the Premier League. Obviously, you've got the Carabao Cup final coming up next month anyway, so we're all good on that front. I think it should just be an opportunity. Christian Norgard, Kepa, them type of players that are going to come. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Mosquera could start again, I guess. If Saliba's still not back as well, we'll probably end up having to start one of them unless he goes for a Calafiori at centre back or Hincapié at centre back. Ben White, you would assume, would come in for Timber naturally. It'd be nice to see Zuber Mendy or Rice get a rest, but then it's sort of like, well, who plays there? Not sure if Max Dowman's fit yet. Obviously, if Max Dowman was fit, it would be a great game to play him in, but I think it's still a bit hit or miss if he's going to make that one. So I look at our midfield options. Obviously, no Marino. Ødegaard, not sure if he's injured or not. Eze is probably on the bad naughty step from Arteta at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's gonna be allowed to play. And then it goes, Nwaneri's on loan. So then we've got Norgard and no one else. It will have to be a Rice and Zuber Mendy. So at best, we're probably going to get a Norgard, Zuber Mendy, Eze. Then forward line. I think
Miles Lewis-Skelly's got to come in there.
I would love to see Lewis-Skelly in midfield, and I think Arteta has briefly mentioned it, but sort of swiped it a little bit in terms of, I know, but just wait type thing. I mean, Wigan in a cup competition when we're already flying in all the other cups would be a great place to test it, especially with all these injuries. But I think I just don't see him doing it. If he was going to do it, I think he would have done it earlier in the season. I don't think he's going to go, this is the time that I play Lewis-Skelly in midfield. Forward line, another thing. Right wing, is Saka going to be okay to play? Do we want to give him an easy game to build up some fitness?
Yeah.
We only give him 10 minutes. Madueke, etc. He's not been great either. And then it comes to the left-hand side again. Trossard and Martinelli. Don't really know again. Don't know who's our starting left winger at the moment. Sometimes it's Trossard. Sometimes I want to start Martinelli. Same with the strikers. Gyökeres I've been loving recently, as we all know. But Jesus, is it a game for him? I think it should just be a game for anyone that to step up and go, I want to start against Wolves. I think that really is a good game to say that right now, no one's really guaranteed a spot bar 2 or 3 players. If you can step up against Wigan and put 4 goals in the back of the net, you'll start against Wolves. So I think that should just be the platform we use it as.
Do you know what? Can I just say, right? Like everyone's disappointed today after last night, and rightly so, because we expected to win, and the performance I think was what made it worse. If we'd have played well and Brentford nick an equaliser, it's painful, but sometimes you can deal with it. But when you've been so flat, that's where the disappointment. But Arsenal have got a good opportunity over the next 7 days to put things right. Use that Wigan game as an opportunity to give people game time, experiment. I wouldn't be playing Declan Rice. I wouldn't be playing Gabriel. I wouldn't be playing Timber. I'd get all of them out of the team and rotate. I think you can do that. And then obviously, looking ahead, we got Wolves and Tottenham. It's a massive 7 days. They've got to put it right now. So, I mean, I think Eze probably does need to play against Wigan because do you know what? You can't give up on the guy. You spent 65 million on him. At the moment, his confidence probably at rock bottom. Do you know what I mean? And we know that Arteta at the moment is not having him, but I think you've got to say, look, League One team at home, we're going to dominate the ball. You've got to show something, because there's going to be a point in the season where we need Eze. Because let's be honest, Havertz's going to be out. They're now saying Havertz could be 3 or 4 weeks. Wanir is on loan. Odegaard's limped off. So let's say Odegaard's injured. You've got no number 10 apart from Eze. So you might have to go into Wolves and the North London derby with Eze in the 10. So I think you've got to play him against Wigan and say, I really hope he plays well so we can rebuild that confidence and get him ready in case we do need him. So
I think he's going to have to. I don't know who else is going to play in there, because I don't, as you say, like Havertz is going to be out for a few weeks now. Like, and even when he comes back, guys, he ain't going to be like doing it long term. Being in and out and 60 minutes here and whatever. Like, I mean, I'm worried about that situation with Havertz now. Like, I've got to say, it's a big blow that. I'll be surprised if Odegaard's anywhere near the team on Sunday after what that the injury yesterday. So it's going to have to be Eze. Like, there ain't no one else unless he does a madness and maybe finds someone within. Like, maybe Saka goes in there and can play that role. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean. So I'm with you guys. I've got to make wholesale changes in this one. Like, and. It is all about Wolves, and let's be. I don't think, I'm going to say it now. It ain't a bad point at the end of the day. I don't think that's a bad point. If I'll be honest, that's a tough place to go and get
2 drops still for me. 2 drops still for me.
Yeah, I think it's 2 drop. You're saying it, Jack, because of the performance. What worried me more than anything else was the performance. It wasn't the result, as you said. Like, you could play really, really well and get done by a last minute goal or whatever. Like, and I just felt that we wasn't really where we should be in terms of winning the league with that sort of performance, and that's the big worry. But going forward, there's no. You've got to beat Wolves now. If we want to beat Wolves, you might as well, like, pack up your tents and go home, because that is it then. Like, and now you've beat Spurs. Simple as that. Like, and if you do win those 2 games, you look at it and go, all right, 7 points from those away games. It ain't great, but it ain't the end of the world. And then you've got to go and beat Chelsea now. And then you got to go and beat Brighton. So there's pressure in every game now, like. But ultimately, I don't think it's the end of the world at that point, like. So listen, before we go, comments of the day. Have we got them?
Yeah, I've got one. You know what? I thought it's a show we're a little bit down today about the results, so I wanted to go back to Lee with the the comment of the show in the last one. This boy said he gets you off your seat with the first bit, and the second bit you're firmly back on your seat. That has to be the most perfect assessment of Madueke. And I thought that was, I was in stitches when he said that in the last show. So yeah,
the amount of comments I've had for that, like, you know, it's been unreal, like, you know. So it was only a tongue-in-cheek joke, like, really, like, but I think it's gone down quite well. I think it's gone. I don't think anybody's sort of gone against me with it, like, you know. And listen, Nonny got me off my seat yesterday. If I'll be honest, so yeah, thanks for that. What you got? What you got for us, Jack?
I actually put this in the chat, but we have one from Gooners Arena, who says, "Big up Jack for the new upgraded aesthetic deco. That gives out real posh vibes. Without the hat as well, you look so much better without the hat. Keep it off. Look more and more like Hector Bellerin. Wow." Thanks for that, mate. The hat's back on today, so I clearly didn't listen to your advice. But you know, maybe next step we'll do like hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off. We'll rotate it. You know what I mean? Give the hat a rest, like Timber. There we go.
Listen, I know my Nonny one got a lot of praise, but also Curtis did come up with a good one as well, like, you know, and I've gone with that one. Love Curtis for saying it's like we'd won the lottery with Liverpool scored. I need to retreat you and find out you got last week's ticket. Like, very, very good. I think that one went under the radar a little bit, Curtis.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
I thought that'd have to come in there, like, you know, and I thought that was quite good, like, you know. So, listen, before we go, no change in the table. We all got it wrong, so no points. I don't know if Ryan's back in or not. So, I ain't got the controls for the table. So bad.
What's our prediction for this week then, boys?
Oh, the predictions. Jack, you're still top.
Still top.
Listen,
it's been a while though.
Robbie ain't here today. Hold on a minute, Jack. Hold on a minute. Robbie ain't here today. Like, there's no Kenya to replace him, so we'll have to give him our scoreline.
We'll let Curtis predict for him. I feel like Curtis is at the bottom. You know, we'll let Curtis.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, so
you know what? I'll probably make a score up for him, and it'll probably be correct. So
if
go 0-0.
I'll go Wigan 7-0. But I'm just saying, like,
1-0 Wigan though. There you go.
Oh man, I'm sure he'll put it in the chat.
He's got to have some sort of prediction, isn't he? So
he'll put it in the chat, won't he? But
should we let him off and say we'll put it in the
chat? I think we let him off. He's had to go to a funeral, so
we'll let him off. We'll let him off this one time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on, Jack. What you got?
I'm going to say something now, right? I'll say something now.
Yeah.
If he hasn't put nothing in the chat by the time we don't mention it now, right? If he doesn't put nothing in the chat, because that means then he's not watched this as well, like, right? Okay. If he has not put nothing in the chat by the time the kickoff is,
yeah,
he doesn't have a score. Yeah,
he gets 0 points.
He gets 0
I agree with
points,
that.
whatever happens, like, yeah. But we don't remind him to put it in there. Yeah, we having a pact here.
I'm here. I'm signed in.
Right, okay, so that means if he's watched the show, then he knows he's got to put it in by 4:30 on Sunday. If he doesn't, no point.
Yeah,
I'm with
0 points. If Robbie, if you are watching, this is all Lee's idea. Nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? It's all Lee's idea. No, seriously, right? Predictions. It's a tough one after that last result. It could go either way, really. Change team, Wigan, 3-0. Why not?
I was gonna go with that as well.
Hey, I'm not stopping you. I'm not on a streak recently, so I wouldn't copy me.
I'll go 4 then. I'll go 4. I was going to go 3. I'll go 4.
Wigan. They're poor, aren't they, as well?
6, 7, 8?
I'll go 3.
We got that.
But then we don't. We got 4 against Portsmouth, though, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a second to change if you want.
Are you going to lock in, or is that your final answer?
Let's go 4. Come on, Lee. Let's go, Lee. Come on. We'll go 4. Come on, boys.
I love it.
Yeah, Marvin.
Come on. 4-0 the Arsenal.
4-0 the Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? We'll wait for Robbie to see what he's got there, like, you know. So, listen, we've come to the end. Thanks for everybody for watching today. Listen, the support for the podcast is going up, which is fantastic, like, you know. We're very, very proud of that, like, you know, the ratings and everything like that. So we're well pleased with how it's going. And I hope you've enjoyed the show today without the main man, Robbie. But obviously he'll be back letting everybody have their 2-minute speech and then 66-minute speech next week. Like, you know what I mean? It's great. I don't know about you, but it's been great to hear from you and Curtis, Jack. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
We've had a little special here today, via Curtis. Enjoy, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice to listen. It's been nice to have a chat, boys, isn't it? Like, let's be honest. Like,
Do you know what? Robbie's a legend, and he answers his own question.
and if he don't like the answer, he ain't having it, is he? Like, I mean.
We love you, really, Robbie. We all love you.
When he starts pointing at the screen, you know.
With me and Yokerez, he was on me like that the other week.
We're out of here. Until next time. See you later. Well, let's just switch it off now.